the next piece I would love to add on, because I had one theme left, which is the Frontline story, right? Because we have many listeners abroad who maybe don't understand the significance of course, this is a story of Jon Fredriksen, but it's also a story about how Frontline has catapulted a great, umbrella to all these industries or companies under, right? But if before we answer that question, maybe just, do you want to say something about consolidation? Since everyone in the industry expects consolidations, or is it just a touchy subject to mention?
No, it's not a touchy subject, but I get that question every kind of time I address the market one way or another, whether if it's a quarterly presentation or an investor presentation. And it's consolidation, yes, we should have that, but consolidation is difficult. For us to grow as an owner, and I think investors need to know that we're almost religious, not placing orders anymore. We don't want to add to the burden in this market. We have kind of our idea of where the market will find this balance, and it's at least for the last 7-8 years, maybe more actually, 15 years, we haven't really placed any new orders in the market. So then when we think of consolidation, it's more acquisition, either acquisition ships that are already contracted or acquisition company or acquire companies that own ships. Well, we are acquiring ships that are ordered by others, and we've done so. The last year we acquired 6 resales, as they call. We also acquired 2 VLCCs from another owner that were on the water. But when it comes to acquiring companies, I think if when you ask the kind of consolidation question, you should think about the industry we're in. How many owners are there, or stock listed owners that are priced reasonably, well below NAV and so forth, and it would make sense for Frontline, who normally trades above NAV, to use our currency to acquire these companies, or one of them at least. It's really hard to do this in the shipping market, and basically due to the fact that most of these companies have dominant owners that actually want to be ship owners themselves, so they're not really open for an acquisition. They might be open for a collaboration, but they're also fierce kind of negotiators and have kind of ambitions on the value of their stock and so forth. So this is not like, first of all, you don't have a vast array of stock listed entities that you can go after. Secondly, the ones you have that are of the quality where you might want to do something, they have kind of shareholder structures or dominant owners that are not interested at all. So it's kind of easier said than done. But there are certain ways the tanker market can consolidate, and one of them is by forming kind of greater commercial units by way of pools, for instance. And there's a lot happening, and I think this is going to be an increasingly kind of theme for the tanker industry going forward, and this has to do with the regulatory framework we're facing. So we're a fairly big owner, and we have the capabilities of both coping with the planning, the reporting, the kind of optimizing with regards to dealing with our emissions going towards 2050 to follow the IMO and kind of basically keep our investors content from an ESG perspective and so forth. But there are many kind of marginal smaller owners that don't have these capabilities, and then it makes far more sense to join a pool that where you come to a set table where basically everything is taken care of. If you are, to use a bad kind of analogy, if you're a Greek owner sitting on an island somewhere sipping to your drink, you don't really want to have 10 people working on your ESG report. But if you join a pool, all this will be taken care of. But the challenge with some of the pools is that their motivation is not, or it doesn't seem like it's always the kind of return of the owner that's participating in the pool, because the pool is by nature transactional. The pool's income is generated from fixtures. So they take a fixed fee per day for managing the ship, and then they take a percentage every time the fixture is concluded. And the percentage is obviously then exposed to the freight market. So the higher the freight market, the better kind of the charter acts on behalf of the pool. Your income increases, a bit like the broker as well. The broker should actually be motivated to do the best deal possible for the owner. But what we've seen is that some of these pools become so large and they don't really apply the commercial power basically for utilization and for the transactional fee. So we've seen that although there are big pools in the market and they're probably going to grow, not all of them are probably best in class as to protecting the owner who's put his ship in their hands. But anyway, it's back to building bigger units, yes, but again, history has shown us that the fragmentation in the tanker market is really difficult to get around, particularly now, where tanker assets should be really cheap because the market is so poor. There's actually normally a great correlation between spot markets and the value of an asset. That correlation is a bit off now, and I think it's more due to the fact that some of these fragmenting owners, or whatever it's called, they have assets in all the various asset classes. So they've actually been making a bundle either in LNG or containers or dry bulk, and they don't really care too much about their dormant asset in the tanker industry that's just paddling around the world, losing a little bit here and there. So they're not really incentivized to do anything. So that's at least the feel we have in the market. So, but as I always say, Frontline, we are in a great financial position to move when we need to move, or we want to move. And we're always looking, but it's tough.